What's up, fabulous people? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a very important topic, and it's something that it's a debate. It always comes on and off every now and then. Streaming, is it good? Is it bad? If you ask me, I will tell you it's good for the music industry. I made a video, my last video, talking about Frank Ocean and how Blonde was really good and all of that. And I think one of the benefits of the success, one of the reasons for the success of that project, Frank or Blonde by Frank Ocean, was due to the fact of streaming and digitization of the music industry. Because personally, I don't think, I mean, I probably would, because when I was very much younger, I remember we had CDs of songs and CDs of Michael Jackson and the likes of them in the house. I don't know, but I feel like if it weren't for digitization and streaming, I wouldn't know about Frank Ocean. So for me, it's a good thing because it helps me to, discover and realize new music, new artists. And that's why I feel like it's good. But the artists will tell you that they don't pay us well. Fine, I understand, but I don't know. I don't work with the streaming platforms. I don't, but it's still a very sad thing. And I'm still hoping that the streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, I mean, these two giants, especially Spotify, gets the stick most of the time for how much it pays its artists. We don't really know. Personally, I don't really know how much it is done, how much money you get, how much dollar you get per million or per thousand streams. It's not really straightforward, but there are arguments that it can be better. But that aside, right, let's look into the good and the bad. The first thing is we're going to look into the good of streaming platform. One of the good things streaming has brought to the music industry is what I said earlier on about how I would not have known Frank Ocean and Blonde, is it exposes these artists, irrespective of who you are, Beyonce or Frank Ocean or Chance the Rapper or Omale, irrespective of how big you are. Music streaming platforms exposes you to more audiences. I mean, the world's #1 artist on Spotify right now, I think, is Bruno Mars, with about 150 million monthly. Do you even understand how enormous that is? To have 150 million people around the world actively listening to your song in a month. Put into perspective, right? With that, you can easily sell out a stadium of 40, 50,000 people. That's more money. So streaming has very easily exposed artists to a wider audience across the world, different countries, different regions, even in the remote areas of the earth. The other thing streaming has done is it has made it very easy for the consumers to consume this music. And it's also what I said about Frank Ocean earlier on in my last video, that if it weren't for streaming Spotify, I wouldn't have known Frank Ocean. I wouldn't have been able to listen to the album because it would have just been very difficult to get a CD, except, of course, piracy, which was the one thing streaming came to solve, which leads us to the third point, piracy. Streaming came and just like eradicated piracy. I mean, there are arguments about how there are still tiny bits of piracy. It's not completely gone. I don't think it can be completely gone, to be honest, but to some extent, to a very large extent, a very large degree of number, it's gone. I mentioned earlier in the video that I found these CDs of Michael Jackson in the house as a kid. I will bet my money that those CDs were not fake, were not original from Michael himself. They were probably dips from somewhere in Alaba or from some markets, copy and paste and shit like that. So that is what streaming has come to do. It has, just reduced very large, by very large, percentage, the piracy of music and dips of music, which I think is a very big win for the creators, to be honest. And another point is data. Okay, with streaming, right? These artists are able to pinpoint, okay, I have 150 million monthly listeners. What part of the world are these people more listening to me more? Where are they from? Or is it in Africa? Is it in Europe? Is it in Asia? Is it in the US? With that, data, you can easily, okay, I have a lot of fans, I have about 2, 3 million fans in Lagos, Nigeria. You can come out to Lagos and sell out a 10,000, venue and have a very nice moment with your fans in Lagos. You can go to somewhere in Indonesia and and sell out a venue. You can go somewhere to Sao Paulo in Brazil and sell out a venue. You can go to somewhere in Europe and sell out a venue. Thanks to the data that the streaming platforms have been able to, curate and present to the artists. And as I said, it's one of the good things that streaming has done to the music industry at large. Of the many things that streaming has done, I can't really list them all. The last thing I'm going to highlight is playlisting. It helps young artists, independent artists, especially to get seen, to be seen, to be heard by fans and consumers of music around the world. I personally, I love to listen to random playlists on Spotify. Like I genuinely could just. There are days where I have exhausted my liked songs. I've exhausted the songs in my library. I've exhausted my daily mixes, one, two, three, my on repeat, all the playlist of the songs that I know that I consume on the regular. I just like, what? I'm bored. I don't know what else to listen to. But then I then start, going down to these curated playlists on Spotify to just listen to new songs and new artists that I never knew about. And with that, I'm able to discover very, very new artists. That was one way I was able to discover Benson Boone before he got his Grammy nomination this year for the Best New Artist. That was how I was able to discover Tate McRae. Back when she sang You Broke Me First in 2020, 2021. She has a new album out now, So Close to What. I love it. I mean, Tate McRae is, I'm diversifying now, giving me money to, talk about Tate McRae. Tate McRae, I am so in love with her, with her rise to fame. She's been grinding for so long. She has this EP, Too Close, Too Young to Be Sad. I think I can't remember the name now, but it has this red picture. I think it's Too Young to Be Sad. I love that EP. I love You Broke Me First. That's the first song I heard from Tate McRae from a random playlist that I was listening to on Spotify. And I'm like, gosh, who was this girl? I didn't even know she was that young at the time. And since then, I've been following her journey. And a new album now, So Close to What, is fabulous. It's a very beautiful body of work, and I genuinely cannot wait to see Tate flying really high and setting out the stadiums and going on the world tours. I mean, she goes on world tours, but I can't wait to see to see more from Tate McRae. And if you haven't listened to Tate McRae, So Close to What, go and give it a listen and tell me what you think. So that's what I think playlisting and streaming services does to young artists and independent artists. It just gives them this placement and make fans and consumers to discover them and find them out, which is a very big boost to the artist and to the industry. I mean, Tate McRae currently has over 40 million monthly listeners. Bro, for a young artist with that discography, 40 million. Thanks to streaming platforms, they revolutionized the industry. But enough of the praises. Let's go back to the bad things people claim they've done. Because I'm still with the opinion that it's a very good innovation to the music industry. So the one thing on top of the list of the bad things and the many bad things that streaming platforms does to the music industry is low payments. Yeah, they pay the artists very low. They make tons of billions of dollars every month. Spotify, said they paid out the highest amount they've ever paid to artists ever in their history last year, 2024. It's a very huge amount of money. If you pay that huge amount of money to artists, how much more did you make? The artists and the stakeholders in the business and the executives, charging the industry, the platforms to pay the artists a lot more better than they do. One platform where they make most of their money is on tours. That's why they always go on tours and shows and performances and, brand partnerships and sponsorships and merchandises and all of that, just to, you know, multiple streams of income, basically. The other bad thing streaming does to the industry is it devalues the music. Now we're in a culture where, because it's very easy to get these songs. Imagine it was a time of vinyls and CDs and records and record discs and cassettes. You won't be putting out a single every 3-4 months. You're gonna go make a very good record and sell it. But now you can just cook something up and cook something up and it's very easy. And now we have a culture where single tracks are more appreciated and glorified. Not glorified, but we're in an era where singles are, getting a lot more shouts than albums, which really shouldn't be so. We should get more albums than we get single tracks. But because we are always on streaming platforms today, it's very disposable, fast and move on. Single songs get the notes. The last thing I'm going to talk about to make this video really fast is these streaming platforms now, they hold all the power. Okay, they can choose to, promote the song, push this, album, push this single, push this artist, and they're always putting it to your face. You can tell there was a time when an artist made this song, it ended up winning a Grammy. It was a good song all the same, but the artist made the song and it kept, every time I just kept seeing it on my Spotify landing page and in random playlists, and I've never listened to the song, but it's always featuring on my Spotify until I listen to it and I'm like, okay, yeah, thank you. So with this power that the streaming platform holds, they can favor this artist more than this artist and that artist, and it's really balanced, and they can really very easily change their algorithm, which is going to affect young artists and independent artists and artists that don't already have an existing audience like 150 million monthly listeners. So those are the few good and the bad. From the few things I've said in this video, where do you lie on whether or not streaming is good or bad for the music industry? I believe it is good in all ways, even though the only bad thing I really feel like it still does is paying the artists lower than they should. But it's a win-win for the platforms, for the artists, and for the consumers. Everyone is winning, we're all happy, and then that's it. So where do you stand? Do you think streaming is bad or good for the industry? Let me know what you think, and don't leave without subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, like, give a comment, and I will see you on the next one as usual. Until then, stay jiggy.